Did we test the audio yet?
I haven't yet. I mean, I tested it. I opened up Zoom and tested it.
Did it work?
You need to scoot that way a little bit more. Okay. Yes. So can we test it here? Can we do settings?
Yeah, go ahead. There's no one here yet.
Let's see there. Audio. Default. Okay.
There you go.
Sounds like they're working. Have a great show. Test speakers.
Stop that. There we go. Testing the microphone. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Yeah, see, it's perfect.
All right. Good. All right. A lot of shit. Why did I do that? Do you think I spent like $500? I hope not.
Oh,
I better do the math.
So, oh, you went crazy.
I better do the math.
I never saw anything so wild and
carefree.
All right.
Oh my God. What does Pontus want us to vote for?
I don't know. Something. Vote in the Prague Magazine Readers Poll.
Oh, I'm so tired. Oh, look, somebody's here. Hey, Sean. Sorry, we're just talking.
Sean, what's up?
We're just talking amongst ourselves, and somebody showed up.
Hello, my brother. I guess it went on Facebook because we didn't. There's 3 people watching. Okay. Oh wait, Rich.
Hi.
It's 11:44 a.m.
It's Monday. Well, I'm sorry, it's Monday.
So what else is happening? And brother, what is going on? Well, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
This is kind of impromptu because we're going to go over what we bought.
So you want to wait a few minutes to come on before we start?
5 people on right now.
Okay. All right.
I thought maybe someone would come on.
Oh, you mean somebody would join us in the stream? Yeah.
No.
Not really, Byron. No. Byron, I don't drink at all. So
Byron, you coming on? Hang on, I'll put the thing up.
Grant last night, and I didn't have any.
Yeah. I'm big partier, kids. Big partier. All right. Here.
Ernesto's here. Okay.
All right. Hang on. Anybody interested to know? I'd be interested to know about some of your favorite Aussie bands.
Oh, that's a tough question.
We can do that.
Yeah.
We like questions. The Church.
Yeah, I was going to say the Church.
Hoodoo Gurus.
Hoodoo Gurus. Us.
In Excess.
No, we've been asked what our favorite Aussie band. In Excess, yeah.
I don't know if I ever saw the
Split Ends Crowded House, right?
Well, there's
New Zealand. That's right. I had a feeling that was going to be wrong if I said that.
Sean's reminiscing about Used Kids Records. Leon, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Used Kids Records. Why are you reminiscing about Used Kids Records? You're still. So I see there's 12 people. If anybody wants to come on, the link's right here. Don't be shy. But we're going to start going over.
Somebody want you to email them the link?
Oh,
that's too bad.
Yeah. It's kind of a downer.
Yeah, we won't talk about it.
We won't talk about it. Anyway, so we're going to go over, I don't know, let's pull some stuff. We got enough people here.
So do you want to, let's say you want to save the Danny Beard story for last?
Yeah, we'll save that for last.
All right.
We've kind of had an epic week. Unbelievable. There's Armando.
Hey, Armando.
Hello. How's it going?
Oh, good. Hey, you sound good. What is happening?
Not too much. Just
Oh,
up on
Rick lost him.
Oh, there he's back. Okay.
Rich says DM3, the Sten.
Rich, the
The
Saints and
Stern?
the Go-Betweens are the only two bands that I recommend that I recognize. But when I was in college, I liked the Saints a lot. Only two bands that I recommend that I recognize. But when I was in college, I liked the Saints a lot. Only two bands that I recommend. Guys,
Hold on.
There's a
Shit,
lot of
I think
echo going on.
All right.
Only two bands.
Okay.
Someone,
That was
who
me.
is it, Byron?
That was me.
Oh, okay.
That's right. We're okay. Everything's fine. Look, we got a thumbs up. Sean Ringer. of
Okay.
course. So Olivia Newton-John. Sean
I like
likes
Olivia Newton-John,
Newton-John.
Sean, and I'm not being
And I
ironic.
I like my favorite Olivia Newton-John was when she was on Solid Gold. Her performance on Solid Gold doing Let's Get Physical was incredible.
No, I don't think I ever saw that, but
I would recommend anybody to look up Olivia Newton-John Solid Gold.
I unironically like the movie Two of a Kind and the soundtrack that goes with it.
Isn't that Jamie
So
Lee
there you
Curtis?
go.
No,
Seen that
that's Jamie Lee
performance.
Curtis.
No,
isn't
it's
it?
not. It's Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta.
Two of a Kind?
Yeah.
Never seen
Yeah,
that.
from '83.
Some weird dude was like the devil or something. It's a silly movie, but it was enjoyable.
Yeah, yeah. The music, the soundtrack
love-
fared better than the movie did. So
Look, it's Ryan Murphy.
Oh, it was on Discord. I'll have to talk to him about that.
Mm.
He did a post.
Look at these little emoji thing. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, Maisie Paul. Maisie, you on here? Where's Griffin at? Tell Griffin to get the link and come on.
Who's Maisie?
Maisie's Griffin's girlfriend.
Oh, okay. Look at that.
how was your shopping trip?
Maisie, tell Griffin to come on. Or Maisie, you and Griffin both come on.
I'm sorry, Armando. What'd you say?
How was your shopping trip? You said you got a bunch of CDs.
Oh, it was great. I went a little crazy.
Ernesto,
So-
how are you?
What's going on,
Well,
man?
Maisie, that's he's working. He should be working.
Twist of Fate is a great song. Yes, you're correct, Rich. It is. I guess I should show that.
Yeah,
Yes,
chill
yes, it
Where's
is.
water. I'm gonna find my water. Todd, entertain the people.
Should I start showing them things I got?
Yeah.
Well,
What do I do with my water?
I'll show.
Let me get my water, and then you.
How was the show?
Oh, the show was fantastic. We went to see Pylon Reenactment Society, and they were even better than we thought they were going to be. They had the loudest, tightest drummer I think I've seen in a very long time, and
Oh, good.
and the bass player and the guitarist are husband and wife, and they were. I absolutely blew the doors off. I just couldn't. I can't say enough good things about it.
We've had a
Oh,
very busy weekend.
Yes.
That's right, Maisie. How much Barry did you buy, Grant? I can guarantee you, Kathy, I didn't buy one Barry Manilow album. And
What
I can
about
guarantee
Todd?
I don't
One?
have.
Is there like an inside
Todd's
joke?
got, well, let
that
me
we don't
pull
know
them. They're
about?
over here.
No, I've only got one.
Oh, you do?
I've got Ultimate Manilow on CD.
Oh, I didn't know that. All
My
right.
father, I inherited my father's.
I have that
records
one
when
actually.
he
I
passed
think.
away. And he's got about 5 Barry Manilow records. They're out in the living room.
Yeah, okay.
There you go.
I keep his records and my records separate.
Right.
Don't know
Wasn't
why.
Barry? Here's the funny thing about Barry Manilow. When you're all depressed and lonely, you put Barry Manilow.
Yeah.
Not in a bad
Barry
way, but, you know.
I thought you were supposed to put on Joy Division.
Barry Manilow's a good.
Well,
was
that
a-
too.
No, that's when you're suicidal.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I'm getting those confused. But does Barry lift you up? I don't know. Hey,
Barry
Copacabana would
levels
lift
you
you
out.
up and make
Like it doesn't lift you up. He levels you out. Like even keel.
But when
Right.
Copacabana was out, we liked that song a lot.
Yeah.
Well, that was a hit. That was
That's
a major
My
hit,
favorite
right?
Barry track.
That was
It
at
was a
every
hit.
discotheque you could imagine.
Yeah, that was what that was 78. Yeah.
Was that
I remember that.
78?
Yeah. Yeah.
How's the weather in Canada right now?
Same.
The weather
You know,
in
it's funny.
Canada,
It's funny.
It's
don't think I've-
36 degrees.
I don't
Wow.
think I've ever
minus
heard
2
a
Celsius
Peter
now. So for us, that's like tropical temperatures. Here it was like minus 27 Celsius about 3 days ago. So
Yeah, it's
Well,
cold in the
You're a
Midwest
little
right now.
further
too.
north.
We should start showing some
Mhm.
stuff because there's so
Yeah,
much
let's
stuff we
see
might
what
not
you
have
got.
time.
Let's see the goods.
Go ahead, Todd. You show one thing and then
So there's Marillion the Strange Engine, which I've never had on
Yeah.
vinyl.
Oh.
So that was kind of nice. That was found
cool.
here in Atlanta.
Good
Let's
one.
see.
What's the price on that? If you don't mind me asking.
A lot. 30, not so
Oh.
bad.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh,
So
look at
So
that.
these
I
are
gotta put-
these are reissues, Todd?
let's put these together.
wax and facts.
Oh.
Grant bought some
Legendary.
Grant bought stuff.
vinyl too. It looks like.
Okay, so
Now don't be
I'll
shy with the
love it to
prices
death.
too, because I want to see if you guys got a good deal.
Fuller, I will
okay.
show you the prices. So
See,
this
these
is
guys are all into it.
this is Goes to Hell for 12. This
Yeah.
is Love It to Death
Oh,
for
show them
25.
show them the label.
And
It's beautiful.
it's the green label
Green
with the
label.
The
straight
first
logo on it.
edition pressing, the first
Yeah.
run.
Well,
Okay.
it's not the one with the
Nice.
where it's flipping off the bird.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then let's see. Goes to Hell was 12, and then Killer was 12. And it had just come in, and he
Green label.
the guy at the record store hadn't priced it yet, and so he said,
Yeah,
I
'cause-
said, how much is it? And he said, I don't know, what will you pay for it? And I said, how about 12? And he went, okay.
Yeah, because
Oh,
they
yeah,
hadn't
it's
But
switched,
it's also-
always good to haggle.
they hadn't switched
It's
to the
also
Burbank
good.
label until '73.
Yeah.
But you want the green label. I got
Yeah.
may he rest in peace. I got something from a former member of PIL and Susie and the Banshees. No, the Clash.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Keith
Oh, are
Didn't he just-
we going back? Because I believe it's my
Didn't
turn.
he just die the other
Okay,
day?
I've already done
Yeah, he
it.
died a
So
couple
I'm
of
not
days
supposed
ago.
to do them all. Oh, God.
No.
All right.
Yeah, it was a
I
couple
think he
of
died
days
on
ago.
Saturday.
For $5.
I'm not sure.
It's on Ryko. Has anybody ever seen that?
No.
I'd never seen that.
Yeah. I don't remember where I got this. I got this at Wuxtree in Athens. All right, go ahead. You can
Oh,
show.
okay. All right.
It's kind of sad that he passed away. Nobody really
I don't know
talked
why I
about
didn't
it.
already have this, but one of the most underrated Supertramp albums, Brotherly Bound. This
I have
was
that on
really
8-track. I have
Yeah,
that on
I have,
8-track.
Like,
I have that on CD.
worth-
Not my
worth three
favorite.
times that much, I think.
Yeah.
There's an
I
8-track.
think I got it
Brotherly
on
Bound.
vinyl.
Yeah, I got that.
Did that
I
ever
have
come
it
out
on
on
CD.
8-track?
No, I'm talking about the Super Tramp.
Yeah, Ernesto
Look
says it did, so it did.
I believe her.
Yeah.
What's this Todd about the
I have
upper
it.
Well, I
lip?
thought I answered that last night, Ryan, but since you asked again, no, it's just a coincidence. I decided not to shave and grow a beard, and there you go. It's actually everywhere, but apparently it shows
Kind of
here
hairy.
more.
Yeah, it looks good.
And it's not for November or whatever they call that thing. It's just cuz.
How about the Screaming Blue Messiahs?
Oh,
No?
okay. Well, look at that.
Yeah,
See,
yeah,
Ian
yeah. I
Holt's got
remember
it.
that one. I remember that.
You know the song I want to be. You know the song I
Oh,
want to.
excellent, Byron.
You know the song I want to be a Flintstone.
Yeah, I've seen the video for it.
Okay. Well, it was only $1.
I've seen it.
Look at.
I was
Oh,
thought that
and
it meant a novelty group, but
That's where you bought that.
No.
Oh, you bought that at Watching
And
Packs?
hey,
it
BMO,
came from
it's
CD
also
Direct.
sealed
That's
too.
Somebody sold it.
What?
It's
Um,
sealed.
I didn't have a really clean copy of something anything, so I got one of these. 15.
that's a good album. I
Yeah.
have it. I have it on CD.
I got it on CD and vinyl. I don't know why I have them.
Yeah,
both,
me too.
but They were both cheap. I got them both for a real good deal. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We bought these at record stores, Rich.
That's hilarious, Ryan. I should have. I'm not thinking quick enough. I should have said that's my mustache.
We're awfully tired. We've been going
We're
for
exhausted.
we're exhausted.
How
well, I
many
bought
shops
this
did
for
you guys go
$1.
to?
Oh my God.
6 yesterday and 2 today.
Wow.
what was that?
Which
not
one
just
is
for,
that,
like,
Grant?
that's
What,
not
what
it.
CD is that, Grant?
This is Concrete Blonde.
Oh,
It's like a
okay,
best
okay,
of
okay.
collection for $1.
Okay.
yeah.
Because there's going to be a Concrete Blonde show. eventually.
Oh, definitely. That's a good one.
Tinseltown Rebellion, my favorite
Oh.
Frank Zappa album.
There you go. B and Bolt. B and
Yeah.
Bolt.
$15.
BM
B
Bolt.
and Bolt.
BM Bolt in the
I got
house.
that one.
What about this Godfather CD? Anybody know this?
Oh, I never heard of them.
No.
Is that like rockabilly?
$1. What would you? This is songs, more songs about love and hate.
Well, if we're
would
sharing,
you
I've got
say?
a couple of CDs here.
Well, bring
The
them on,
Godfathers
Armando.
are like
You
a
can hide them.
slightly darker version of the Romantics.
Like a punk rock romantic.
Yeah.
Hey,
Big drum
hey,
sound,
B and Bolt, you better be ready
little
for your Zappa thing, right?
I'm ready, man. Tomorrow night, premiere.
I'm
Tomorrow.
looking forward
You
to
gonna
it.
So when I was a kid,
I'm gonna watch. Yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try.
All right. Sounds good.
You guys are nuts on here.
so when I was a kid, I had a purple label copy of Hey Jude from around 1980. And I've always said if I found a really clean one, I would buy it. And this is a really clean one. So
Purple label.
purple label. So there you go.
Oh,
Wow.
Not a
Capital,
Wally.
yeah, that's a 70s press.
No, that's an 80s press.
It's like 78, 79, 80.
Oh, yeah,
something like that.
That's because the double white album.
Yeah.
That's like 78.
That's cool.
Yeah.
No, that's cool.
But that went into the 80s. They used that.
Early 80s, yeah.
I got
Yeah.
Big Star Live for $3.
Oh wow.
Really? Jeez.
It's a good
Yeah.
deal.
This is on Ryko. I hadn't seen this for a while, and this was also a cutout.
Now, here's the
But
funny
this is
thing is
phenomenal.
when you buy a CD, don't they have them sealed, or do they have it where you can open and look at it?
In Athens, in Atlanta and Athens, they tape them shut.
Well, how do you know what's
They don't want
inside?
people stealing the CD out. So
Well, I wouldn't want it. I
you just
want
have to trust them. But I'll bet you that
okay.
one's fine.
Yeah, I would open it
Yeah, it's fine.
right after I bought it.
Yeah.
It's mint.
Sometimes they'll put the wrong CD in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
As soon as
Well,
I
you have
walk
to
out the
just
door, I
drive
open
back,
it and
I guess.
click it.
So
go ahead.
I've been collecting the Hollywood USA
Nice.
version.
Ah.
This is the only one I didn't have. So
Cool.
1998, not bad, at a store called Decatur CD, which is a nice
That's
store.
cool. That's cool.
Were those on vinyl
They
way
got
back when they
Art
first
of
issued them?
Noise.
What's that?
There
Did they
might be
issue
an
those
Art of
on
Knowing
vinyl way
episode
back in
sometime
like
the future.
90 or whatever they first came out on Hollywood? Do you know?
No, I think they were only on CD.
Okay, that's what
They
I
were
was
just on CD in 91. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. This is my favorite Interpol album, Our Love to Admire. Wait, there. And
What's it called?
a lot of people say this is the worst Interpol album, and those people are wrong. This is the best Interpol album. So just
My
so you
son
know.
says it's the worst.
Well,
I've
your
never.
son
heard
and I are
of
going to
it,
have to have a debate.
I tried to get him on here. He's working. Wait a minute. Record stores are getting very scarce down here. I went to a fair on Saturday, got the second Paul Collins Beat album and the Sneakers EP. You ever heard the Sneakers?
Well, where does
That's
Rich
like-
live at?
Oh, okay.
Uh,
All right.
Stamey and those
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, yeah.
Paul Collins Beat. You guys ever hear the Paul Collins Beat?
No.
Oh,
Where
it's
does
phenomenal.
Rich live at?
Good liner notes on that Big Star Live. There was a vinyl reissue of that album recently on
I think he's in
Omnivore.
Australia.
Oh, in Australia. Oh, okay.
I think he said he was Australia.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's like really early.
Check this out.
So I used to have this. Oh, look at that.
Oh, look at that.
This is
Very
a
nice.
concert, but
Is that like a
concert
live?
program. Yeah, it's his last
That's right,
tour.
Rich.
Okay.
Stamey and Miss G shirt.
I didn't
Miss
go.
Mitch
The
East-
show got canceled in Omaha, but I found that at a store, sealed, so I bought it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, that
That's very
concert.
cool.
That tour got
I used to have this album and
canceled halfway through.
I lost it in the purge, but this is Keen's Strangeland from I think 2012, and Keen's one of my favorite bands. And this on eBay is going for like $200, and I found a copy of it in Athens for 22. So that was a no-brainer.
So you're flipping
He's
it,
a
right?
businessman.
Yeah.
No, I'm keeping it. going to enjoy it.
George
Interesting,
Harrison, extra
yeah.
texture.
Cool.
And do you guys? I'm going to show this. Do you guys know what this is?
Do I know?
Well,
what
Melissa Aldermore.
Oh yeah.
Who
She
said
used
that?
to. She
Armand?
was a bass player for Smashing Pumpkins
Oh,
and
Yeah.
Hole. And
I
Hole.
got it for
Yeah.
$1, and I never. I knew she had a record out. I'd never
$1?
saw it. I thought, well, I'll give it $1. Yeah.
yeah. Is it any good?
The record stores in Athens. Well, this was in Atlanta. The prices are great.
Sounds like
So this
they're
is
good,
something
yeah.
you don't see a whole lot. Ecstatic by Daryl Hall and John Oates. That's one that I have been having trouble finding. $12. This one's a Canadian copy. It's pretty minty. It's got this goofy picture of them on the back. But it's the album with "Wait for Me" on it,
which is my favorite Hall and Oates.
Yeah,
song.
it's a good album. Not quite as quirky as Voices, which is what came after it, but pretty good.
That's right.
Oh, Ryan! Holy crap!
Oh boy.
Yes,
Aussie.
Rich, that's correct.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah, that is right, Rich. And Will Rigby, other DB guys. Yeah.
Yeah. And Ryan, wow. Pay right now and don't say anything and leave as quickly as possible. Don't say, I can't believe this is only. Oh, wait.
I don't think I've ever seen that on vinyl.
Say $30 is a fair price. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's good.
Get your.
Any 90s
Oh.
Sabbath is hard to find anymore.
But you know what though? With the 90s Sabbath though, I wouldn't buy any because they're
You
gonna
got more.
remaster it anyways. It's gonna be maybe
I'm
probably
running
by
out of
next
stock.
year.
What's left to
Oh.
be remastered from Sabbath?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
The
about
90s stuff. The
God
90s
darn
version. All the 90s stuff with Tony Martin is gonna get remastered.
Okay.
There's a guy on the other side of town.
That's good
here.
because
He was
I
selling
don't have
CDs
any
for
of it.
$1.
So I'll
Yeah,
just wait for those. I don't
Yeah.
have any Tony Martin albums.
TYR
You guys know
for
this
$1
Bobby
on
Fuller
CD. I
comp?
didn't want to drive across town just to get it.
I know, right?
Cool.
This is really a great comp because
Who the hell's that? Bobby who?
Bobby Fuller?
Bobby Fuller 4. I Fought the Law,
Yeah.
but this has got the lyrics that haven't been futzed with. Because
Is that I Fought the Law and the Law 1?
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
All right, so
Clash
I'm
did
going to
that too,
quiz
right?
everybody.
The
Huh?
Clash did.
What?
The Clash did I Fought the Law, right?
Yeah, but they didn't say the F word like Bobby Fuller did.
Well, I don't.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
What I'm saying is this has the version on here is not edited.
Really?
And it sounds
And you guys
The-
did pretty
the
good. I had
mastering on
a
display.
shipment come in this today, like a mail stuff in the mail today. About 4 CDs come in today. So,
Oh, okay.
you did?
oh yeah,
Nice.
like a White Snake box set.
Armando gets a
and-
lot of shipments
Which
every
one?
day.
Well, here's the thing,
do I.
Armando. Do you pay a lot of taxes?
It depends if I'm buying off of Discogs because I'm in Canada. The rate of exchange on the currency is high,
Hmm.
right? So I mean, but depends where you get it from. Amazon's okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Grant. Go on.
Yeah.
Show it.
No,
show me
you're
what you got
fine.
there.
I was just going to say to Rich, I don't know if I'm a fan of the Dwight Twilley Band. I remember them from back in the day, and at the time I liked them. So if I ever found any stuff by them, I'd probably certainly buy it because I don't
Rich?
have any.
I have that CD.
I see their stuff pretty cheap once in a while. A friend of mine bought a few. I haven't bought any yet.
So I'm gonna quiz everybody. I'm gonna ask everybody if they know what this is. Does anybody know what that is?
There's a bit of a glare on it, though.
There's too much glare on it.
So it's a band called New Music, and this album is called From A to B. New Music was like a not synth rock because they were acoustic drums, but they were a keyboardy pop new wave pop band, and the main guy's name was Tony Mansfield, and he went on to produce Naked Eyes, and he also produced a B-52s album. But this album is just absolutely fantastic.
year?
And this band, this particular one is 1980.
Okay, good.
Oh,
And
wow.
this band, they came
So,
out. They came out in. They have 2 albums, and this is the second one. And in the States, they combined it into one, and the album is called Sanctuary in the States. But
It's got the hype sticker.
incredibly accessible new wave band, and I absolutely love them. And I was totally thrilled to find it for $30.
Yeah, I was going to say new wave, new romantic kind of that kind of vibe, like new wave.
It's more like, gosh, it's really hard to describe. They've got it's kind of an upbeat, keyboardy pop rock, but it's got like a layer of acoustic guitar like on everything. So
kind of
it's
like
hard to describe.
It sounds familiar, but I can't think of the.
It doesn't sound too terribly different from Split Ends.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Like
now I got a
later
reference
Split
point.
Ends
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
it doesn't sound too much different from Split Ends. But yeah, great band. Love them. And they just disappeared. Grant, your turn.
I got the Cure, the Top Deluxe Edition.
Oh, wow.
Which I think's out of print, but it was.
Well, how much did you pay for that?
21.
Oh, okay.
That's average. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you review that one yet?
Mm,
Or well, you guys aren't really reviewing the albums. You doing just? I thought you were doing just a couple songs.
We did that.
We're doing our pick our two favorite tracks.
Yeah.
We got to reschedule.
Sort of a review, but yeah, we've done the top already. We did the top, right?
Yeah.
I got for whatever reason, because I love Death Cab, I didn't have a CD copy of Narrow Stairs.
That's a great record, though.
So I bought that at Wax and Facts in Atlanta. It was $2. So I don't know why it was $2, but
I thought
you
that
guys
was
found some
$1.
good finds.
Yeah.
I got Ringo Starr's Sentimental Journey on Apple. Well, I'm kind of looking for all these Apple pressings on CD because you just don't see them. You see a lot of Badfinger, but you don't see any of those, and I just see them. If I find them, I buy them.
What was that, George Harrison?
Yeah, but that's all part of the same series, I think.
Was that Apple as well? The George Harrison, or was that a different label?
Be, but it looks like the extra texture looks like the way the label looked. It's an Apple one, but it's orange.
Okay.
But I didn't have this.
That's a pretty good find. I don't ever see that.
You never see it. It's weird. Yeah. So I got 2 Beatle-related things today, so that's cool.
This is an album by a band that Grant and I interviewed. This is Squalls from Athens, Georgia, and the main guy, Bob Hay, is Vanessa Briscoe Hay from Pylon Reenactment Society's husband, and this was autographed, and it's got a sticker on it that says, "Most of us weren't in Athens in the early '80s, but now you can be." I was.
I knew he was going to say that.
Yeah.
I bought a Kraftwerk CD called The Mix.
Oh,
because I didn't have.
Is that like a greatest hits or something?
No, I think it's. I don't know what.
Well, it's got. I think so. I think it's remixes because it's got Audubon on it.
I think it's a remix record
and Pocket Calculators. So yeah.
Okay.
But I love Kraftwerk, but I didn't have
that an import.
And this is on Electra. And I never see it. I mean, I could get it online, but
is it domestic or import?
Yeah, what is that? Domestic. Is that domestic?
Yeah, it's on Electra. It was $6. That was probably the most I spent on something used.
Yeah, Grant picked this up somewhere and gave it to me. This is an album. Is it their only album?
Yeah.
This is an album by a band called The Odds, or actually they're just called Odds.
Mm-hmm.
No,
it's a good record.
And it's an album that was released by Zoo Entertainment, which is the company that Scott Byron, who we interviewed.
Signed this band.
Yeah, he signed this
band. And when we were on the show, I was asking him, I said, I'm just curious, what other Zoo artists on the label would you recommend? And he just listed stuff, and I found that in the wild used, so I bought it for Todd.
So interesting story about the Odds. When they were, I went and saw Warren Zevon in the early '90s, and the Odds opened up for Warren Zevon, and then they were his band. So
Wasn't Matthew
early-
Sweet signed to Zoo?
I guess.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, Matthew Sweet. Yeah.
Yes.
I like some of
That's
Matthew
true.
Sweet stuff, and I've heard of the odds. Yeah, I've heard of them.
Todd,
You've heard
did
of
you
the odds?
see?
I never heard of them.
Yeah,
Todd, did you ever see Hindu Love Gods?
I did. I have not seen Hindu Love Gods, but they played a lot when I lived in Athens, and for some reasons unknown, I never saw them.
You did. Yeah, it happens. It happens.
So I don't
That'd
know.
have been
I don't know why. I had opportunities and missed those opportunities.
blew it.
Yeah.
Did you
go
guys
already?
run into Michael Sipes?
No. I got the Stooges Funhouse Deluxe Edition with two CDs. I don't remember how much it was.
was that originally on
So,
Electra
Todd's
or
double
Columbia?
developed.
On Electra, huh?
That was Electra.
But I don't
yeah.
have this album, believe it or not.
Okay. Was that no?
So,
Raw
this
Power
is-
was mixed by David Bowie. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know. Did he produce it or did he mix it?
I don't
I
know.
think he mixed it too. Yeah.
he mixed Raw Power, I think.
I've got Raw Power though. I do have that.
So Elton John Caribou on
Yeah.
MCA, the original MCA pressing, but it is made in Japan. So
Oh,
It's a clone
I'm
of the
looking-
DMJ.
and it's got
issues.
the smooth-sided case. So everybody says it's the best one. So we'll find out.
It's a
Right.
clone of the DMJ original CDs, and they're spectacular.
Todd, what's your
Wait a
favorite
minute.
Elton John album?
Mine, it's probably Cat and Fantastic.
Really?
Okay.
Did you guys?
That's the
did-
guy that I've
did
been
you guys like the
starting
movie?
to acquire his collection lately.
Well,
That's the 70s stuff. Though. I don't need anything after that.
Right.
yeah, you see the
you-
70s stuff.
Did you
Now,
guys like the movie?
I have to say that
It's
the
terrible.
80s and 90s stuff for Elton John, for me, has highlights. There aren't any truly great albums from that era, but there are songs that I like.
I agree. I think his zenith was in the 70s.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
But there are songs from later that I
In
like.
the 80s, yeah.
I'm
Like,
Still
empty,
Standing.
like Empty Garden and
Right.
Empty Garden.
stuff.
What,
like-
I love.
what was
I
his
like All Quiet on
last
the Western
great
Front.
album, though? What
Yeah.
do you think is his last great album?
Oh, I would say
Blue Moves.
I don't even know if I'd count Blue Moves because it's so spotty.
Yeah.
There are parts of Blue Moves that I love.
I'd say the
Um,
Caribou.
Goodbye
Yeah,
Yellow Brick
fantastic.
Road.
Is after.
No.
Goodbye Yellow
Caribou's-
Brick Road.
No.
I'd say.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was
Captain
early. though.
Fantastic's after Caribou?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wait, but
Yeah,
I think it's right
Is that
before
the one
Blue
that's
Moon.
75.
Yeah.
Captain
Yeah,
Fantastic came
Caribou
out in
is,
75. Yeah.
Caribou is 74, so it's right after.
Oh, boy,
it's right
I'm
after
bad.
Yellow Brick Road.
Yeah.
So
then
I
comes
think it's
Blue Moves,
probably. Yeah.
No, Blue Moves is
I think
later.
I think it's Captain Fantastic is the
I
last.
think it's
great
it's
one.
after Captain Fantastic.
That seems fairly. I believe Todd. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
I
Blue
like
Moves is like
Goodbye Yellow
80,
Brick
isn't
Road
it?
myself, but
Yes.
Wow, you guys are really
78,
talking
maybe?
about Elton John.
This is the first time.
I know.
I'm gonna do.
I really like
I
Madman
forgot.
Across the Water.
We haven't done the next Matthew Sweet episode, and I know you've been waiting, but we haven't done it yet. I'm not sure when it is. I don't have my book in front of me.
Rich is here all week.
I stalked him. I
Someone
found
shall
out where he
offer you these
lives.
once. So I've been collecting the Rainbow remasters, and I only had a
Well, that's
couple more to get.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and finished. I got Difficult to Cure, and I got Richie Blackmore's Rainbow, and I got Long Live Rock and Roll. So I
I've
have
got the first three
everything.
rainbows.
I have everything from this to Bent Out of Shape. I figured
Oh,
that's
okay.
probably plenty. So
Yeah.
I tend
Rainbow's not
to
exactly
like
a
more
famous
the
band for me, but I
Ronnie
do
James
like
Dio era of
Yeah.
Rainbow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Look at-
like
look
his
at
the
So,
mystical
Sonny and Cher.
lyrics
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
Right.
subject matter and
And the-
stuff.
And the Graham Bonnet's good
Any of
too.
you guys know?
Yeah.
Any of you guys know the band Red Cross?
Yeah, that's from over here. Aren't they from California?
Yeah, that's
oh, no.
from your world. And that's
Yeah.
it's from your. Yeah.
Rich says songs from the West Coast was pretty good, and I
Yeah.
agree, Rich.
But look at the inside. It's got Sonny and Cher on the graphics.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's pretty
I've never
good.
seen that.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
I mean, I've seen the album, but I've never like actually seen one like in person
Oh,
on CD.
yeah.
I've never seen
That's
that.
why I got it, because I hadn't seen it for years. And I didn't have
Yeah,
it.
you don't
And
see-
Red Cross is a great band.
Yeah, you don't hear
So
about
this is an
them.
album that I had. No,
No.
this is an album that I've had the download of since it came out. But this is Glean by They Might Be Giants from 2015. I'm trying to fill all the holes in my They Might Be Giants collection. So this was $13, but I didn't have it. So
I got
That's good.
Pete Townsend Scoop on CD. I haven't seen that forever.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll put
I
these
just
two.
found a lot of stuff that I thought was old.
There's supposed to
I'll
be
put
a
these
Who's
together.
Next Super Deluxe Edition coming out sometime.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
How much longer does Scoop need to get?
Well, I like another Scoop too. I'm not
think
going to
there-
get it.
I think
I'm happy with this.
There were 3 scoops, weren't there?
Yeah, there were
there
two.
was.
I only know of 2, but I wouldn't be
I
surprised
thought
if
there
there
was
was
a
a third one. I don't know.
Well, maybe there was. I don't know. If we only had a way to look it up.
I'll put these two together. Grant was saying, he was asking me if I had Hatful of Hollow, which is a Smiths compilation that's from Great Britain, and I didn't. And he said, well, if we find one, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it for you. And he actually just handed it to me, and I was like, yeah, I'll buy that for $6. And then I didn't have Strange Ways Here We Come on CD, so I bought that.
Is that the Johnny
This is
Marr
remastered by Johnny Marr.
Oh,
I sold the
cool.
vinyl
That
of
was
that a
full price.
while back.
I
don't
had the
like it.
vinyl of that, and I don't anymore
sold-
because I'm dumb sometimes.
I'm
Yeah,
trying to
I
get
sold
into the
that
Smiths, but just
couple
couldn't
other
get into
things.
them.
I can't
Like-
get into that.
It's
No.
it's not
Music-wise,
for
I just
everybody,
couldn't.
Armando. I think the Smiths are a tough sell.
I love the Smiths.
I love the Smiths, but I totally get how somebody
You-
wouldn't. I totally
you
get it.
either love Morrissey's voice or you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
Or
a
you
Johnny
don't like
Marr
it.
that I like, but I
Yeah.
don't like the Smiths.
All right.
Sold all my
yeah.
stuff.
Yes,
it-
Richard. I'm
They're
a
in the
Jellyfish
quiet
fan. I
phase.
saw
Me
him
too.
on the first album, on the both tours. I saw him play live. I've been
Jellyfish?
hardcore Jellyfish that came out. Yeah, I saw him twice.
I was late
Are they
to the
from
party
Canada?
with
They're
Jellyfish,
good.
so by the time I
Jellyfish are
discovered
good.
them, they were pretty much done.
They were phenomenal.
I think it's your turn.
They,
I
they
got
were really
some
good.
Skid Row
Oh,
Slave.
Skid Row.
to the grind. Yeah.
Man, you're going all over the place here. Holy
Who
shit.
do you think you
Look
are,
at
Tim
that.
Durling?
Okay.
Yeah. You betcha.
I didn't have the Grand Wazoo, so this is a Zappa Family Trust version of the Grand Wazoo,
Which
and
should sound
it
fabulous.
was I picked it up as a used CD, and so I think it was $5.99.
He gave it to
Well,
him.
they had this particular store. It's a CD warehouse.
That's the
They-
original one.
Sometimes,
There,
yes.
there's a
What's that?
that's great. There's a box set coming out December 2nd,
That's the original one.
a 5-disc set
Byron,
called
what is that? I don't know what that is.
Waka
What is that,
Wazoo.
Byron?
Skid Row.
The original
First
Skid
album.
Row.
Oh,
That's the original Skid Row.
Gary Moore.
Oh,
Yeah,
first
Gary
band.
Moore.
oh,
No,
okay.
but there's a 5 CD set, Todd, of the Grand Wazoo and Waka Jawaka from Zappa. It's coming out December 2nd.
Oh,
yeah,
So
yeah, I
it's-
saw that.
Yeah, I pre-ordered it. So
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
we know you're going to get it.
yeah,
Armando's easy. You know what he's buying. All right, I got Steve Miller Band, Your Saving Grace,
that's
because
cool.
I never, ever see it. And all these Capitol, if you get on the Steve Hoffman site, all these Steve Miller Band CDs get high praise in sound quality.
There's another guy nobody talks
Now,
about.
Nope, you're right.
Nobody
So
talks
the
about
Cure
Steve
mixed
Miller.
up for whatever stupid reason. I didn't own this already, so I picked this up. This was cheap. I don't know what I paid for this. The price is not on it, but
Visage. The Anvil
That was a good find.
on One Way Records, which I never knew it came out on
Because,
One
and the reason why this version is so good is because it has We Move in Frequency 7 tacked on as
The
and
dance
those were
ones.
on a 12-inch, which never came out on CD.
Oh,
So
okay.
sorry.
So
I'm
no,
stealing your
you know
turn.
more about it than I do. I've got the first album.
So you guys know who Visage is?
I've heard of
Midge-Ure.
them.
It's a Steve
Yeah.
Strange who was buddies with
Midge-Ure.
Midge-Ure, and
Midge-Ure,
Billy
yeah,
Curie.
he was in there.
Yeah,
He
Midge-Ure
was
was in
actually
Thin
also-
Lizzy. He was in what do you call it?
Ultravox.
and this guy
Yeah.
Steve Strange was also buddies with Spandau Ballet, who was in that
Oh,
whole
okay.
club scene. Oh, was that your turn?
Go
Sorry.
ahead. No,
So
you're
this
right.
was what I thought was going to be a used copy of Some Girls, and it turned out to be that they gave me a new one. So that was cool. Probably $6. You're
Rich,
probably
that's pretty
wondering why I didn't have a copy of Some Girls. I just didn't. Can't explain it.
Rich, I've got the 2 Nuggets box sets, the 1 and 2. That's all I've got. But somebody else might have some.
Yes, the Blitz Club crowd. Thank you, Rich. I was trying to think of the name of the scene where all those Steve Strange and Spandau Ballet were on. They all were. And there's an excellent documentary called Soul Boys of the World that's about the Blitz Club and Spandau Ballet in particular. I think it's your turn.
I bought this for Todd, but he already had it because I already bought it for him.
So now he has an extra one to put on Discogs.
Yeah, the pursuit.
The Pursuit of
Rundgren.
Happiness.
Ice has
Yeah.
Todd Rundgren produced The Pursuit of Happiness from 88?
88.
88.
88. Great record.
Canadian.
I have all
band,
the
yeah.
Columbia Blue Oyster Cult except for this one, so I picked this up for $3.99 on your feet
Oh,
or on your knees. So
Yeah, I got that on
I figured,
vinyl
well,
recently. It's a good album.
I've seen it
Yeah,
on vinyl a bunch of times recently.
and then you also have
Yep.
the Club Ninja too, right?
What's that? I have Club Ninja,
Club Ninja?
correct, which I'm very proud of.
I'm not trying to describe this, but we bought this at
Yeah, I bought that too.
the Pylon Magna Pop show.
We bought it to throw some money towards the merch table. And this band has Vanessa from Pylon and Bob Hay from Squalls, and it's also got members of Pylon Reenactment Society as well.
Yeah. So it
Yeah.
should be cool.
So yeah.
But we're trying to support the band.
I was looking at the merch table going, oh my God, what do I not have? And so that was something I didn't have. So I bought it.
I can't believe we
Kay
bought all that
Stanton
shit.
and Jason Neesmith, I believe, are both on this. I'm not totally sure. I think so.
Yeah, this was other stuff. Pylon Reenactment Society 45.
Yeah, I got those too.
Is it black vinyl? Yeah.
No, yours is black. Yeah, mine's green.
You got a green one?
Yeah, I showed it to you. We looked
I
at it
know.
2 days
Yeah,
ago.
it's on that Friday. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm envious. How did I get black? Well, anyway, Pylon Reenactment Society. They played this song, The Messenger, last night. It was great. And then I got this other 45, Super Cluster, Things We Used to Drink, Memory of the Future. Did I get this too? She gave
you that for free.
We got it for free. Oh, I'm
Is
not
it
opening
fucking
it.
good?
There it
Brother
is.
Love.
Holy jeez.
Oh, we're not done.
Yeah, we kept going. But see, most of these CDs were really cheap.
Yeah, because we're cheap.
I got a copy of Thrax because, again, I can't explain why. I don't have my CD copy of Thrax anymore, but this one was $4.99.
Good
so
album.
there you go.
Really good
Are
album.
you gonna buy the
You'll be excited about the next one.
the box
What's
set
that?
of King Crimson? There's a reissue, a box set of the documentary of the King Crimson
okay.
documentary. It's like an 8 CD set.
Wow.
It's coming out December 2nd. I was wondering if you were going to buy it or not.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm a little bit.
Do you have that 8-track, Ernesto?
I'm trying to see the name. It's kind of like
The Ivies, maybe tomorrow.
There's a glare.
Oh,
And
no,
Three
no.
Badfinger.
Oh no, I don't have that.
This is one of those Apple reissues, like those other Apple reissues, but this is the cassette of the Ivies, and I thought it's a $3, and I never see it anyway. I mean, if I
Yeah.
could ever find that CD on Apple, I'd buy it, but I've never seen it. So I bought the cassette. What the hell?
I wanted to finish answering Armando's
Oh,
question.
go ahead.
This is not a very popular opinion, but out of all of the classic prog bands, King Crimson is kind of not A-list for me. I get bored with some of their stuff, and so if there's a King Crimson that's going to come out that's going to be like expanded, I'm probably not going to buy it.
Well, no,
I just stick
because
to the
yeah, no,
tracks.
this documentary is touted because there's a lot of behind the scenes stories from the band members,
Oh,
like Robert
okay.
Fripp and what happened with the band, and there's it's a document. It's
well, I would
Blu-ray.
be interested in that.
Yeah, it's documentary. It's the documentary. There's another 7 discs, the soundtrack to the movie, and then there's live material stuff that came out. Yeah, so you can get it through the website for like $92 or something. So
I'll go look into that. That does sound pretty interesting. Again, I'm revealing a lot of stuff about myself, which isn't totally flattering, but I did not have a physical copy of the Ace Frehley album, so I went ahead and got it.
That's cool.
Pretty cheap, I think.
You've just lowered my opinion of yourself.
Yeah.
Hey, that album sold better than all
what I'm
four
saying.
of them put
There's
together.
there's no reason for me not to have this. I mean,
No,
I've got like this
buying
many.
it lowered my opinion of you.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
No, but
No,
that
I just
album
don't-
was the better.
I'm not
Was
a
touted as the
huge
better
Ace
album
fan,
than all
but-
4 of them.
Yeah.
I should already have that.
That's the only solo album that's worth listening to.
Yeah.
I like Jeans.
I sold all those years
And I know
ago.
that's going to lower
I still have
people's opinion of me further, but I like Jeans.
I still have the posters though from those albums, but I don't
Oh,
have
yeah?
the
Screaming Blue
The
Messiah.
Screaming Blue Messiahs.
Yeah, I already showed
Other
the
than-
one album, Bikini Red. This is the
Okay, I
other the
didn't know
next
they had
album,
2. Okay.
but $2. I figure, what the
Cool.
hell? Why not?
Cool.
So if I could take a brief
Go ahead.
intermission. Rich Alderson says, do you own much Bob Mould, Sugar, Husker Du, or Grant stuff? Grant Hart stuff. I'm a dedicated fan. Well, I wanted to say that a couple of things. I saw Bob Mould tour when he in Athens when he toured for Black Sheets of Rain, which is the album that comes after Workbook, and that show has the distinction of being the loudest show I've ever seen. I seriously thought that I might get brain damage from that show. Bob Mould's a spectacular performer, and it was a great show, but oh my God, was it loud. And speaking of Sugar, David Barbie from Sugar was in a class with me. I took a class in Athens when I was going to the University of Georgia called The History of Rock Music. And David Barbie from Sugar was in the class with me. And
Cool.
the class was taught by this guy named Bill Ramal, who was a producer who was responsible for leashing on the world the singles Mr. Jaws and Energy Crisis 1974. If any of you are old
I
enough
thought
to
Mr. Joss was Dickie Goodman.
Dickie Goodman is the artist, but Bill Ramal was the producer.
Mr. Jones.
He was the guy that
Always
edited all
blame the
tapes.
producer.
And if you know what
Huge
those
as a
are,
kid.
there are these goofy songs where they play little snippets of other
novelty
songs. Yeah, it's just novelty records. But I just think that that's super weird that I would take a class that was taught by that guy and that David Barbie would be in the class with me. But anyway, sorry, that was really long. But yes, Rich, I like all of those people. Yes, if you're talking about David Barbie, absolutely, he's a nice guy. And he Pylon Reenactment Society, because everything goes back to Pylon Reenactment Society, are recording an album at his studio.
Mr. Jaws does rule.
And yeah, Mr. Jaws rules.
That was 1975, I think, or maybe 76.
Thanks for the comment, Stephen. You bet it does.
It does. Mr. Jaws rules.
I was starstruck taking that class. All right.
Well, now I'm down. You keep going.
Oh, I keep going? Okay.
You've got more stuff than I do.
This is the latest album by North Carolina band The Connells, Stedman's Wake. And I've wanted this for a really long time, and it's been out since 2021, and I just never bought it. So it was in front of me, so I bought it. Grant bought this for me. This is another Zoo Entertainment artist. They have a horrible name, but this album is supposed to be great. They're called the Pooh Sticks.
Pooh Sticks.
And this came out in 1991, and
That was signed by...
I'm going to listen to it because Grant says it's good.
Well, I'm going with what...
I
brain problem. I forgot.
I do like the picture on the cover. So there you go.
But
Did I hear
it was
correctly? They're
signed
called
by
the Pooh Sticks?
Scott
The Pooh
Byron.
Sticks.
He signed them. Who signed Matthew Sweet?
Yeah, it's supposed to be good.
And he said he
The
recommended it.
Pooh Sticks.
So I was just going through and finding stuff that he recommended. You know?
Okay, is it time to tell our Danny Beard story?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I'll start. So I found a copy at Wax and Facts. I found a copy of the first Guadalcanal Diary album on DB Records, which is the
pre-Electra.
Pre-Electra. And it was $10. And so I don't know if you guys are familiar with Wax and Facts, but it's a store in Little Five Points in Atlanta, and it's owned by Danny Beard. And Danny Beard is the guy from DB Rex, the name of the record label, and those are his initials. And he's responsible for I don't want to get this wrong. He's responsible for signing Guadalcanal Diary, first of all, but he had a hand in the B-52s.
That label is the label that put out Rock Lobster originally.
Yeah. So it came out on DB first
Rex.
Before Warner Brothers signed him. And he signed Pylon to DB Rex. And so we were there, and he was there in his store, Danny Beard himself. And so when I showed this to Grant, one of the other employees said, I think Danny has more copies of those. Mm-hmm. And so Danny Beard went upstairs, and he came down with 2 more. And then we started to this is your turn.
Well, I started talking to him about how did that even start?
You got to talking about Ohio.
Somehow I got to talk about Ohio because he was asking why we were down there, what was going on. I've never seen one of those. But I said, well, I came down from Ohio because we're going to go, we're out record shopping and we do shows together. And, Steven knows about Pooh Sticks.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, and I said, I'm from Delaware, Ohio. Okay. And he
factoids. All right, go ahead.
No, but he has ties to Delaware, Ohio. So, in a nutshell, we just hit it off and we're just talking about Ohio Wesleyan and just all that type of thing, and we just were talking all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and so
basically,
I was talking to him about a couple of local bands. One of my friend's brother played in a local band, and he just sort of said, "Do you guys?" And he was talking about this brand, the Windbreakers, which he discovered and produced. Did he produce it? Let me see. I want to get that right. He was the executive producer. And so we were talking, and he said, "Do you guys have a way to play cassettes?" And we said, "Absolutely." He went upstairs and he came back with his arm.
Oh my God.
So, what if he had 8 tracks, Armand?
Yeah, exactly.
He gave both of us.
I think Todd did better than I did on that.
Sweet Jesus.
Did he really tell you guys that?
All of these cassettes by Atlanta bands that he had something to do with. So that top one is Ann Rich from Boston. She was in the Swimming Pool Cues. Uncle Green, Right as Rain, Fetch and Bones, the Jody Grind.
That's
Bill
cool.
Lloyd. And these are all on DB
Rex. And they're all sealed.
He didn't have a tape deck or anything.
Huh?
He didn't have a tape deck?
What?
He didn't have a tape deck?
No. I don't know. I just think this is old stock.
Yeah, he just had a bunch of extra stuff.
The Reveliers, Pop the Love. And, we were really talking. We just shooting the shit with it.
That one's really cool.
Swimming Pool Cues.
That's
cool. In Richmond, Boston.
Yeah, that's the fun part about it, eh?
That was great.
Yeah.
I'm telling you something, and I asked him to do an interview, so we're gonna have him on the show, and Todd and I are gonna interview him about the whole history of DB Records and the B-52s and all that.
There are a lot of bands that came out of Athens and Atlanta. If he had not been around to champion them,
you'd never hear
we
them.
wouldn't
You'd
know
never
who they
hear
were.
them. No.
So he owns that record store? He owns that record store?
He owned the record company. It's not really an entity right now, but he ran it out of Wax and Facts Records. And he still owns Wax and Facts Records and still works there. And that's where his office is.
Oh, wow.
That's cool, man.
So I saw him there, and I said to Grant, I think that's Danny Baird. And then later on, he ended up giving us a whole mess of stuff for free. So
Wow.
It was
That was
incredible. And we're getting an interview out of him.
yes,
Something like that happened to me. Something like that happened to me once.
Oh,
where
yeah.
I walked
Love
out
Tractor. Todd's
with
seen
a
Love
bunch of
Tractor.
I saw Love
CDs.
Track
and
in
stuff.
high school. I'm sorry, Armando. What were you saying?
No. Like with what happened to you, something like that happened to me once, like back in '91, where I spent the day at A&M Records, like the record company, and
Okay.
I spent the day with one of the A&R guys, and I was telling him some of the artists that I like listening to, like Bowie and stuff. So when I left, he literally opened the drawer and he pulled out every artist that I mentioned that were signed to his label. So I walked out with like
Okay.
about 20 albums, like,
Great.
which was cool. So
Yeah. Yeah. When I was in when I worked for Turtles in Atlanta, Warner Electro-Atlantic had a marketing office in Atlanta, and one of the guys who was the merchandisers who would come to the record store to put up the posters, he said, "Hey, why don't you guys come over sometime and I'll give you a tour." So he gave us a tour, and there was this big long aisle, and the aisle it was just boxes with records in it, and he was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, what do you like? Just pick out whatever you like." And I ended up with a stack of records like this tall. They were all Electra, and so it was all.
Oh,
It was
wow.
like Rico
yeah.
Kasich.
No, that's the fun part, right? That's the fun
it
part.
was-
You never know.
Yeah, you never know. And it was like all of the 10,000 Maniacs albums, and it was just awesome. It was a whole ton of albums that I got for free.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's cool.
John. Hey John. Well, Atlanta.
Mr. Klauser, there he is.
That's right. You're coming for Wasp. I'm thinking about
That's
going.
Jo-
I don't
that's
know,
Johnny
maybe I'll go
Metal.
to Wasp.
Johnny Metal.
That's Johnny Metal.
Should we start
Johnny
calling him Johnny Metal?
Yeah.
I think we should.
Oh, and I forgot to show this. I got this as Wax and Facts too for $3. This is the Columbia cassette of Elvis
Get
Costello
Happy.
and the Attractions. Get Happy,
Oh.
and it's in perfect condition. So that was cool.
I can hardly wait to get back to Ohio and play these cassettes, to be honest. I'm kind of excited.
That's it. Oh,
Grant, you
Wait a
better
minute.
have
No,
your
Todd
tape
still got
deck.
more.
I got to show this because it's cool. This was hanging on the wall
This is
almost
cool.
all the way up to the ceiling, and I didn't think they would have any. And I said, "Do you actually still have any of those?" And they said, "Yeah, one size. This is a Threshold label T-shirt from the label that the Moody Blues were on." And I have no idea why they had it. It's totally random. But
Trapeze was on that
love it.
label too.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
So I think that's the coolest thing ever. So
It is.
It was like $12.
Anybody else
It's
on
gonna
that
be
label
Johnny
besides
Metal.
Trapeze and them?
I'm not sure. I'm sure there must have been.
Yeah, I can't think of who else was on that label besides
Steven,
them and Trapeze.
Get Happy is one of my favorite Elvis Costello albums too, and I have heard of the Cigar Store Indians, but
I have not.
I have never seen them play.
Crabapple, Georgia.
But I knew they were a rockabilly band. Cool. We have these people that watch this
Todd-
thing are smart.
Todd's
They
more
know-
hip than I am.
They
to
know a lot
stuff.
of good stuff.
Well, you know what? You did a good thing because you helped out the small and mom and pop stores, so that's good.
Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned because I wasn't doing the math this whole time. So
What do you mean
Right.
doing the math?
for how much everything cost. So
Oh,
You know what? It can add up.
yeah.
It can add up, and you don't really realize
See
it.
you, Johnny
until-
Metal.
Johnny
get the
Metal.
bill.
yeah, I'm a little bit concerned. Armando, I don't want to look, so I might not look.
Listen, I after watching Nina Proxied episode on Jean-Luc Ponty album ranking, I walked out of our local mom and pop shop with the entire Atlantic albums, like series from Jean-Luc Ponty on vinyl. I went in and I found them all. And I'm like, okay, I'll take this. I walked out of there. It was like 10 albums, like $90. So it was like, it adds up.
I did a
right?
very
I mean,
similar thing with him. I decided I wanted to have some John Ponty albums. I went to my local store and the guy is a big jazz fan. He's got a big jazz room, and he had like 7 of them, and so I bought all 7. Luckily, they were like $4 a piece. But I have to say, I still have Jean-Luc Ponty albums that I haven't heard yet. So that is a monumental task to rank them. I can't even imagine. I've still got so much work to do before I could even think about doing that. So I got to watch that episode because that sounds epic.
Yeah. But I think what they did was they picked like maybe like his top 5 or top 10. You know,
okay,
like
that makes sense.
If you've got an artist that's got like maybe like 25 albums, it is impossible to do an in-depth ranking in one go. It's just impossible.
There you go.
Well, especially with somebody like JLP, he's
there
like,
you go, right there, down there.
Yeah, he's like, I always think I'm going to find a Jean-Luc Ponty album that isn't as good as the others, and every single time I listen to one, I'm like, well, holy crap, that one's good too. So I've yet to find one that I don't like. I wanted to say something about Rich's comment. Get Happy is unbelievably great. And I think that it's hard to say if that was their peak because there's a couple albums that came out of that, which I also think are amazing. But man, I Get Happy. If I had to pick a favorite Elvis Costello album, it would be a contender.
Did Trust come out after Get
Trust
Happy?
came after Get Happy.
Where did Almost Blue come in?
Almost Blue is after Get Happy, but very close to it.
Okay.
I could be wrong. It could be right before it. But
well, you know what? Armando's going to have to put together a Jean-Luc episode. He's going to get...
No, I don't think so.
You doing Jean-Luc episode?
No. Ernesto is suggesting it.
You should do it.
Yeah. I still got work to do. I still got about 9 or 10 albums.
I couldn't do it.
You see, like I said on the show yesterday, I've got what I call collector's ADD. Right? You buy something, right? You're all excited about it. It arrives, and then there's something else to move on to. It's like something new. You know what I mean? So I have to it would take me literally 6 months without buying anything new to listen to everything that I bought from start to finish. And that's 7 days a week. So it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot, right? So
well, you need 10 years to really let a discography absorb it. And,
Yeah.
You really,
especially one that big. Yeah.
You can't just listen to something 3 or 4 times and be an expert on it. You just can't.
Yeah.
At least I can't.
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
You have to sit with an album for a good amount of time, like a good decent amount of time to let it sink in and get used to it and think about what you like about it and what you don't like about it. So
well, I know Armando's really good at Queen. I know he loves Queen.
Guilty.
He's been listening to it for 40 some years, so it's just embedded in his brain.
So this is the logo for Wuxtree Records in Athens, Georgia, and it's been same logo since I was in college, which is a very long time ago. Wow. So they gave us a little sticker, so that's cool.
Here's the business card for Wax and Facts.
Cool.
Yeah,
and like
it's number 2.
Number 2.
I've been a fan of Queen since I was 12.
Yeah, because I saw you on Ryan's show.
Yeah. Okay. But
I've been listening to Queen about as long, but not quite as long as Armando, but since I was
we had a good episode on the last one on the Sheer Heart Attack album, like in 90 Opera. I mean, we all did really good on that show, I thought. Yeah.
I'm excited about the future episodes. We're closing in on my favorite album, which I won't tell you what it is, but
News of the World
soon. Close
to mine. To be honest, I like all those records though.
God. Even Hot Space. You like Hot Space?
I like Hot Space.
I have my thoughts on Hot. I've told this before.
So you better save that one.
Last true Queen album that wasn't a parody of themselves.
Okay,
I think
I'll
that's
give
a
you
little
my background.
It sucks.
I got
That
into
blows.
Queen. I got into Queen. Oh,
Whether
that's a
it
good
blows
copy.
or not.
Is that a Canadian disc?
How'd you find one that wasn't a cutout?
I found it at
No, it's
Retro
not.
Sound Records.
That's a good one. See, look at the condition on that.
Holy shit!
Clean.
No, because I
I've never
got into
not
Queen
seen
for
one
the
that was
greatest
cut out.
hits, right? The original greatest hits, and then the first cassette I bought was of Hot Space. So to go from the greatest hits with everything that's on there, like Rhapsody and Killer Queen, to go to Hot Space, I liked Hot Space. I do like Hot Space, but over the years, to me it's not as strong as, like, say, The Works or even like The Miracle or stuff like that, right? I mean, it's good. I've always said that it'd be a good Freddie Mercury solo album.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I
But
agree.
That's going to be an
So,
interesting debate.
Except for it's got really good Brian May and Roger Taylor songs on it. Not very many, but a couple.
Yeah,
that I like.
Yeah, well,
But that was a really nice copy, though.
yeah,
That's
that's
one of the
a
things.
pretty
it looks
pristine
like-
copy.
Grant and I were talking about this today in the car, and I think you didn't agree with me, but
I don't know.
I will find out in a minute. I think that the song "Dancer" is incredible. It's got a Brian May guitar orchestration solo on it, and it sounds almost just like Billy Joel's Billy Squires the Stroke.
We were
It sounds
talking
almost
about
exact. I mean, it's got a very similar sound to that. And so, why everybody hates that Queen song? The Queen songs on side one of Hot Space, but they love Billy Squire. There's not a whole lot of space there. Pardon the pun. Between those songs,
I think we'll do.
To me, there's not.
We'll do a show, Queen Dancer versus Billy Squire the Stroke, and we'll have a debate.
There you go.
And the thing
I like that
there
idea.
isn't much difference between the rhythm track on it.
Yeah,
he says that they're same song.
And other Billy Squire songs, I think, sound a lot.
Well,
like
I
that
mean,
song. Well,
Freddie Mercury and Roger Taylor sang background on that album, as far as I know. So,
well, he's probably influenced by Queen. That's why,
Well, they had the same producer.
Oh, okay.
Whoa, yo!
Greetings, gentlemen.
Hello.
Even have you been on this before?
No.
It's great to see you. You got some. You got some good taste in tunes.
It's so funny because Randy, Dead Wax 66, he actually had recommended me to check out the channel because you guys were going to do like a power pop thing. This is a few weeks back, and finally, I tried to catch things live. And today I was in the middle of work and I thought, oh yeah, I'm going to listen in. And you're like talking about all the bands that I talk about on my channel, which was. Okay. I thought, oh, good. Here's a nice little corner of the internet where, like-minded people. So, I mean, you guys are all talking about great, wonderful stuff. And I'm not here to promote me or anything, but I just a couple days ago I did a Queen video where I went through the entire catalog.
Oh,
and
cool.
And actually, my two favorite albums are. This might not be popular opinion, but Jazz and A Kind of Magic.
I love jazz.
Jazz is my favorite. I'll go ahead and reveal that right now.
I knew it was jazz. I knew it was jazz. No, jazz is good.
Really good.
They're all
That's
good.
my first
I mean,
Queen album.
A Kind of Magic.
Well,
I mean,
they're
again,
not
I
all
was
good.
talking to a Queen fanatic, so I mean, A Kind of Magic is a great album. My take on that is, if they had released it as the soundtrack to Highlander. In its original form, it would have done better in the States because it's a more of a rock oriented,
Yeah, I think
soundtrack.
I think so too.
But I
think so too.
I mean, Queen.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead, Todd. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to say that I'm sort of changing the subject back to jazz, but I think that Mustafa is maybe the bravest thing that just about any band has ever done.
Why do you say that?
It's to start an album with a song like that. At first,
Because
I mean, there's so many
reasons.
I mean, it's got kind of a Middle Eastern sound to it. No rock bands were doing that.
Yeah, no.
Well, that's true. It's very unique.
Yeah, and it also starts with it's really not the full band playing. It sounds really thin, and then the whole band comes in and it's super heavy. There's nothing accessible about that song at all.
Yeah,
and I think
it's mono. It's mono at the beginning.
Yeah. It's mono at the beginning.
If I had one criticism of jazz, and again, I'm a fanatic, right? With the exception of Mustafa and more of that jazz and Fat Bottom Girls, the drum sound on the album is a bit weaker than earlier in the catalog, like the other albums. And even Roger Taylor said there were a couple of good songs on the album, but he said there was a bunch of weaker stuff on the album. Like they didn't like the drum sound because it was Roy Thomas Baker coming back into the fold, and he was recording with the Cars, and he tried to use that recording technique that he used with the Cars, and they didn't like it too much because it's just a thinner drum sound. It's not as bold, like it's not as rich as
it's similar to the Candio drum sound, and I think there's distortion added to it. I think that's part of how they get that sound.
There you go.
And it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I just love the song so much.
Well, don't forget Foreigner Head Games, the worst recorded drums on the planet, and that's Roy Thomas Baker.
I think they were experimenting with different sounds, different ways to make the drums sound bigger, and in that case, I think it backfired a little bit. But I just think that there are some songs on jazz that are just absolutely exquisite.
Yeah, I think that's the last.
I love jazz. I love Mustafa. Let Me Entertain You. Fun It. Dreamer's Ball. You know what I mean? Dead on Time in Only 7 Days. I love all that stuff. I'm just saying, from my personal preference, it's just the sound is different. It's a bit of a thinner sound, but I mean, it's Queen. Queen are fantastic.
Yeah, bringing it to a kind of magic. The reason I love that album so much is I personally don't think that Freddie sounded more passionate than he did on things like One Year of Love. Incredible vocal.
To Live Forever. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that like when they hooked up with David Richards, the producer of like that and Miracle, and I think he may have also produced Innuendo. I think that was.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I think it was, they were more confined and they weren't able to, or maybe they didn't want to break out of this and do crazy, weird things. And I think that's why it didn't really connect with the American audiences. I mean, they lost America with Hot Space.
Yeah. I don't want to hijack the show about Queen, but I think that it had to do with the change in direction musically, and it also had to do with Elektra at the time with Hot Space, not promoting the album as much as they should have or they could have, and that's when they switched to Capitol EMI in America, and they never got back the American or Canadian audience.
Yeah, never. It's a shame. Total shame.
I have a theory about Capitol EMI around that time, and I'll let me test this out on you guys and see what you think. Capitol dropped the ball with a whole bunch of artists all at once. Capitol dropped the ball with Thomas Dolby. They dropped the ball with the Motels. They dropped the ball with Queen. And Tina Turner coming through saved them. But some mistakes were made, I think, at Capitol in the early 80s. And there were a lot of bands that were on Capitol, artists that were on Capitol that were successful, that just sort of took a dive. So I'm wondering if there was mismanagement there in the promotion.
You know what? There was a scandal, a payola type of scandal going on at Capitol around 83 when Queen were about to release the album. They released Radio Gaga, and it did good for the first couple of months, and then it just tanked. I mean, Capitol had a really good, and I feel like we're hijacking the show. I apologize profusely.
Oh no, that's okay. I want to hear this.
Go ahead.
But according to Brian May, Capitol had every intention of promoting the works to the hilt. They really did, because they really believed in the album. But they got caught up in this payola type of scandal going on, and for some reason, Radio Gaga just disappeared off the charts. I think it got as high as 16, and then it just disappeared. Like a week later, it was gone, and they just never got back. And let's be honest, and I got to stress this, with the I Want to Break Free video, that's what tanked them in the US. In Canada, that video was played all the time. That was never an issue in Canada, that, dressing up in drag and, cop parroting Coronation Street, the soap opera. In America, it tanked them. In Canada, they had no problem with that whatsoever. So I don't know what the hell happened.
That never should have been considered controversial.
When we watched
nothing
it,
controversial
when it was released, when we were young kids, we never thought anything about it. It was actually kind of like that.
It's totally silly and campy, and that's a great song.
And Roger Taylor looked good as the blonde. I mean, he had the legs for it. He had the legs for it, and to be honest, too, to be fair,
well, Roger Taylor was pretty hot.
Roger Taylor made a pretty cute girl. I gotta say.
And to be fair, around 84, 85, you couldn't find any electro pressings of Queen in Canada, or anywhere. Right. I mean, they were just discontinued, right? So I don't know. It's
weird, and they were able to maintain that type of fame and success overseas, but just in America, it's like they just did not exist. I do remember, you're talking about I Want to Break Free, the video. I do remember MTV playing that quite a bit, as well as Radio Gaga. But after that, I don't think that I ever saw another Queen video, nothing from The Miracle, until Innuendo came out. But they had totally skipped over The Miracle on MTV or in America.
MTV didn't play. I think Breakthrough is one of their best videos, and MTV did not play it. In fact, I never saw it until a year later.
I considered The Miracle a cross between The Game and Hot Space, because you had the R&B stuff, the pop stuff, and the R&B stuff like Party and My Baby Does Me, which was like a slower track, more R&B tinged, but you had like the rock stuff, like I Want It All and Was It All Worth It? So, and I think that album only really reached 59 in the American charts. I don't get it, but by that point, EMI and Capitol in America refused to promote it. When Jim Beach, the manager, approached them to get the contract, they gave him back the catalog. Here, take it. We don't want it. Go ahead, because they signed to Hollywood Records in America, in North America. Capitol EMI just gave them back the catalog. Here, take it. We don't want it anymore. We're done. We're done with you. They didn't want to promote them.
I stand by my assessment that from the early to mid 80s, Capitol in the United States did a terrible job with promotion. And I want to add Missing Persons to the list of the bands that they bought.
Oh, yeah. No, Missing Persons were good too. Yeah. No.
Bands that should have been huge that just took a dive. And not because the material wasn't awesome, because Rhyme and Reason is one of my favorite 80s albums. And Capitol just screwed it up. I'm not knowledgeable enough to about the business to describe what it is that they did wrong, but they did something wrong. To mess up Queen, they did something wrong.
Well,
yeah, I don't know.
It's like
maybe
the
someone
chicken
knows.
before the egg too. It's like, because with Queen, according to the management, according to Jim Beach, the manager, Mercury did not want to tour America again until he had a hit album. And he's telling them, you're not going to get, you're at the bottom of the barrel right now. You're on the bottom rung. Unless you tour and rebuild that audience, you're not going to get a hit album. It's like, well, then forget about it. I'm not doing it. I'll get a hit album when I die. And he did, basically. I'm sorry, but
Jim was probably right there. That was probably
he
was 100% right. He was 1,000% right. Sorry. But they did not want to tour. He did not want to tour. Sorry. And unfortunately, he was their voice, right? So
you see, I think judging by everyone now looks back at Live Aid as like the ultimate Queen performance. That cities in America could have been seeing that, if the band had toured America, if the label had gotten behind the record and pushed it, because sure, that what was the Billy Squier song that killed him? That video,
"Rock Me Tonight."
Yeah. I don't think that. I Want to Break Free killed them that bad. I think that they could have definitely recovered from it, but I think, as you said, with the whole stuff going on with Capitol, I've no that album should have been big in the U.S. because it was a very universal album in terms of it had something for everybody. It had something for the sort of the keyboardy fans. It had something for the rock fans. It had something for the people who loved the great hooks. And that's the thing that Queen are often forgotten about is they were great pop songwriters, not just rock songwriters. Listen to You're My Best Friend. You listen to Killer Queen. These are great pop singles. It doesn't, it could be put under hard rock or rock or whatever, but they made great singles. And,
I had someone say to me that, you got to remember Queen from Sheer Heart Attack on, the main word was variety, right?
Yeah.
You had variety all over the place on those albums, starting from Sheer Heart Attack. I had someone say to me, who I love dearly, but say to me, well, the fact that they went off in so many different directions showed a lack of concentration, a lack of dedication. And I'm thinking, no, I respectfully disagree. It's like if you have a group that from very early on in their career divert into different directions musically, that's what you come to expect of them. Like, what was the difference?
Absolutely.
What was the difference between what Queen was doing and David Bowie? David Bowie, every album for RCA was like from 71 to 80, every album was a different avenue, like a different step to take. You expect of Queen. So
it's interesting because you a lot of and I'm not including anyone here or anybody watching, but there's a group of, or there's an audience out there that doesn't want change. They don't want diversity. Yeah. And that's going to be a situation where, like a band like Queen, they just want them to sound like Queen. Now, Queen to me wasn't one sound. Queen was across the board. I mean, you can go from the, the vaudeville type stuff to the hard rock. I mean, they did it all. And there's but people only wanted, Queen's, all the music they did was this big, but people just wanted to hear this little tiny chunk. And I think that that's what hurt them. But also it's what hurts even channels on YouTube. If you don't just focus on jazz or just focus on the Beatles or just focus on this or whatever, people aren't going to connect with you because they just want you to talk about one thing. They want bands to play one kind of music.
The problem is that people don't want to take a chance on something different.
Yeah.
Right. They want, Grant and I just did a show last week for a friend in Australia. We were talking about the album from Songs from the Big Chair, Tears for Fears, and the host is a little down because the numbers aren't as good in terms of views. as he was expecting. And I thought, you know what, we did a good show. We all contributed. We did a really damn good show, and it'll catch on eventually. But yeah, people do not want to venture out. They only want to know what they're familiar with, and what, you know, it's Iron Maiden all the time, or it's King Crimson all the time, right? There's no diversity there. There's no stretching out, and that's a shame.
I do understand the way that people approach
wait
that.
till we do that Thompson Twins episode. It's going to set things on fire.
Thompson Twins.
Eventually, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, Steven, you were going to say something.
Okay. Sorry.
No, I was going to say that the reason I think a lot of us get into music is the connection we have with music. And I think if people tend to close their minds, sometimes you're not going to reach that aha moment as much, because when I was 16, oh my God, I bought my first Residents album. I sold it the next day. Thought it was the weirdest thing in the world. Forget it. I hate them. When I was 17, I loved them. I just wasn't ready for them a year before or 2 years before or whatever it was. Then I just became a hardcore fan. It's the group Can. I didn't connect with them until a certain period, but I think that I'm glad that people are happy just with their little window of what they love, because as long as they're passionate about it, as long as it's music and they're buying it, then all the power to them. Absolutely. I will not fault them for that. But it's so amazing to just open your mind. And, I listen to Buzzcocks and Undertones, and then I listen to Andy Williams. Andy Williams is like one of my favorites. Karen Carpenter is one of my, Carpenter's one of my favorites.
I love Karen Carpenter. Please.
Yeah. But I love Love Tractor, and I love Pylon, and things like that. In fact, me and Ronnie Barnett from the Muffs interviewed oh my gosh, what's her name from Pylon?
Vanessa Briscoe Hay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How come I couldn't remember? We interviewed her about
it. With us. Yeah.
We had her on twice.
Yeah, she's super cool. She's super cool.
Yeah.
In fact, I think she clued me into the Love Tractor remasters that were coming out on Bandcamp. Yeah. So I've been buying those, on CD and stuff. But I love just, my first concert was Glenn Campbell in 1970, but I'm like a huge power pop punk new wave guy, and I wouldn't want a limited, to love a limited amount of music. This is why I love watching all you guys talk, because you're jumping around the map and touching, talking about Queen in depth.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
You see, I've always thought that once you think that you know all there is to know about music, you're done. You're finished.
Absolutely. I agree. I tell people that all the time.
You're limiting yourself completely. Like, I've recently gotten into Miles Davis and Herbie Hancock and, the jazz fusion and Pat Metheny and, all the, and I think it's bloody brilliant. I've said that phrase quite a few times, but I love all different stuff, like, Renaissance, the prog band from the UK, Renaissance. And why limit yourself? That's what I say, but people can be very fickle.
Another example of that, going back down to the South, since we were talking about Pylon and Love Tractor, is REM. REM made some fantastic music in the 90s and the 2000s, but there is a particular breed of REM fan who wanted them to make Pretty Persuasion over and over again, wanted them to make their album Murmur over and over again, and that was certainly not a band that was ever going to do that. But
go back and listen to Murmur again.
Yeah, they just felt like they weren't you're not making the kind of music I want you to make. So
there are so many bands out there that I don't think get enough credit for making albums that were different from each other. Like, right. I don't know if any of you care about Adamant or Adam and the Ants, but no Adamant album was the same. They were every album was completely different from the last, and he doesn't get credit for that. He gets credit for the hits and stuff like that. But if you go through his catalog, just he covers so much different ground. Even a band like, don't hate me for this, Spandau Ballet. Every album is different.
This is a Spandau Ballet friendly zone here, Steven.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I'm telling you, there are bands out there. There are bands out there that are talented that have not got their proper due. I mean, there's a band. I've mentioned the band before, but there's a band from Canada called the Tea Party. Who a rock band from Windsor, Ontario, who formed in the clubs, and they're a cross between the Doors and Zeppelin. But what they do is they call themselves alchemists because they bring in the Middle Eastern influences. And when you listen, they have got I don't know how many albums, maybe 10 albums. I can't even remember now. But I've got all of them. And their roots are in rock, but they do it their own way. They bring in the Middle Eastern influences, and they do acoustic stuff, and they use different instrumentation like sitars and dobros and stuff. So and people are like, well, they're trying to sound like Zeppelin but that's their influence. I mean, everyone's influenced by something or some type of music that came before them. And I don't believe that they've had one big album in the US, and their second album, Edges of Twilight, and they've never conquered the US market, and they've just given up on the US market because they just could not get a foothold in there. But they're a good group. They're a really good group, and
a Canadian band that I thought should have been really big in the 80s here was Strange Advance. Are you guys familiar with Strange Advance?
Yes.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my God.
And they actually last year they released Strange Advance 4, which was it's a fourth album, all brand new stuff, and it has the original vocalist, because when they go out and play live now, which they've been doing occasionally, the original vocalist doesn't play live with them, but the album, and it's just as good as the 3 albums they put out in the 80s. So
gotta check it out.
Yeah, Strange Advance 4.
Steven, what were you going to say about Spandau Ballet?
Spandau Ballet, every album is different. Every album is different. And, because like if you listen to, the first album, you're going to hear Journeys to Glory is the name of it. It's more of that funky, new romantic thing. Then when you listen to Diamond, the next album, they kind of smooth that out a little bit, but it has a whole different guitar tone. There you go. And then True, a whole different guitar tone. And then Parade, a whole different guitar tone, and different songwriting, different approach. Yeah, there you go. Right.
And then this is basically a rock album. I mean,
yes,
Through the Barricades. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that one?
I remember
Spandau
Ballet with songs like
which is
Me
even
Down
different.
and stuff.
Yeah.
So I remember
That after that?
Yeah.
Well, don't you think that they just wanted to do True over and over again?
Yeah. I do think that.
That's the problem. Okay, here's a problem, I think, in rock and roll or in general, and this is more coming from labels per se. And by the way, you guys may not want to let me up on your shows anymore because I always talk. So I apologize if I
too. So
it's Sunday night chat. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I apologize, guys.
No, but what the heck was I talking about? I was talking about
We did Spandau Ballet.
And then you were going to go on about rock.
Okay. Rock in general. You come out with a hit, and and radio and the labels say do that again, and then they kind of almost force the band to basically rewrite their hit. And that happened a lot in the 50s and the 60s. It happened in the 80s, like let's say with Dream Academy, where that Life in a Northern Town was this big, huge hit with the chants and stuff. Then on their second album, they had another song called Indian Summer that sounded exactly like it. And the people are going to say like we want you to sound just like this. Then they come out and they sound just like that, and people go, God, they never change. You would think that they would move on from that hit. Well, no, everybody told them to redo that hit. So people are either going to allow them to change, or they're not going to allow them to change. And I think that's why a lot of artists kind of buck the trend and just say, we're going to do what we want.
It's a general rule that for a record company, that when something works, if a formula works, flog it till you can't flog it anymore.
Yeah.
And you're going to have
Look
to
at AC/DC. How long have they been doing their stuff?
Exactly. I mean, and that's a shame.
And like the Undertones, the third album was Positive Touch, sounded completely different than the first two. The first two were kind of similar in a lot of ways. That whole, Irish Ramones is what they called it back then. I mean, that's the only reason that I bought the first Undertones albums, because I read Trouser Press and it called them the Irish Ramones. And I said, I have to hear that. And I still can remember pulling seeing the inner sleeve and putting the record on with a Sire label, and boom, I ended up liking that first Undertones album more than I liked any Ramones album. I mean, that's my opinion, but I love when bands change. The first couple Stranglers albums, they are identical. The first three, I think. Radoš Norvegica's Black and White and whatever the third one was, but they all sounded the same. But then they changed, and then with every album after that, they continued to evolve and change or whatever. But a lot of people lost interest because they didn't sound the same anymore. But those same people were probably, if they ended up sounding the same 5 years down the line, they go, God, they never change. So you can't please anybody.
You never got to please everybody all the time.
I just thought of another example of a band that changed every single time. Everything But the Girl. Every single album is different.
Well, guess what I was listening to today?
Oh, yeah.
I was listening to the first two Everything But the Girl albums.
Just think alike.
Yeah. These are the expanded 2 CD editions.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they even released
Missed You.
Aren't those imports?
Yes. Yeah, they were on, I think, Demon or Edsel Demon.
Yeah.
But their third album, Baby the Stars Shine Bright, incredible. It took away.
I heard that album when I was in college, and I was absolutely blown away. I was completely mesmerized by it. And to this day, it's one of my favorite albums, because I thought, who makes an album like this?
But Tracy,
I mean, it's just not like anything else that came out at that time.
Tracy Thorn's vocals, though. Oh my God.
Which album had the song Miss You on it?
Oh, that Missing, I think, is the name of it.
From 96.
Later one, it's quite hard, I think.
Yeah.
But all the
you see,
but girl stuff's great.
Yeah, I kind of lost interest when they went electronica. Now they did just announce that they have a new album coming out next year, 2023, which is good news.
There's no way to tell what it's going to be like, because they've tried so many different things. I have no idea.
Exactly.
I'm going to be being surprised.
That's exciting.
There's a group I need to investigate.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorites are the first three.
Mine too.
What
were you going to say, Grant?
I like Idlewind, I think, probably.
Idlewild.
Well, right. Well, my favorite, I know this is going to be contrarian, but the acoustic album is my favorite.
No, that's a lot of people's favorites.
I love it.
Yeah.
Then when they break down all these songs, very simple.
I'm learning, right? Like I didn't know this stuff, right? So I mean, you're teaching me now, right? So
yeah, they're great, Armando. You'll love them. Yeah.
Yeah, the Baby the Stars Shine Bright album, their third album, was kind of like their version of a Dusty Springfield album in the 80s, like a 60s, it was basically, it had timpani, had bass, had very little guitar. Yeah, that one right there. Very little guitar, and it was orchestrated. So it had strings and horns and this big bombastic production, which just made it one. Like, in fact, somebody on my Facebook page today, because I posted a song from that album, and she said this is the best holiday album, and it doesn't have anything to do with the holidays, because it does. It sounds almost as glorious as a Christmas album, but it's not Christmas.
Great, like I haven't had enough to buy, so I'm going to start looking into this stuff.
That's funny.
But that's the good thing about music. You never stop learning.
Oh, never.
Right?
The thing I just want to add about the thing I want to add about Queen, I do have a problem with Queen changing with each record. That's not the beef that I had. I think the last true real Queen album was Hot Space, because they did what they wanted to do. They didn't seem to self-parody like they did on the Works. I listened to the Works, and it's them trying to be the old Queen. And I think that album's the last album with great songwriting. I think after that they couldn't write a hook to save their lives.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
If you listen to the interviews, if you listen to the interviews, even with Roger Taylor, even back in 1982, he was not a fan of the album. He says, "What is released by us is done by committee. We don't agree on everything." And he says this was for entertainment.
That's true. They didn't agree on much at all.
And he literally said, he goes, "I can name you a few things I don't like that we've released, but." And even to this day, he has said, "I do not like that album. They wanted to do a dance album. I didn't want to do it. I was outvoted. We did it. Boom." And
that's true.
I think for me, Innuendo, their last one, was a return to form for me. But I might be in the minority on that. I don't know.
Reviews stated at that time that Innuendo, a lot of the critics thought it was a return to form. I don't see. I see it as a blending of the Miracle type sound with some of the old, trademark Queen things.
Yeah, and Taylor said it was.
But I do like it though.
It was a continuation of what they did on the Miracle, but less poppy, more introspective. And I would throw in a bit of tropes back to A Night at the Opera on it, right? But how everyone hears music differently. We all come from different angles. Some of us are born in a happy family, a loving family. Some of us are some of us are raised in a divorced family. Some of us are raised in, middle-class neighborhoods, some, in a poor neighborhood, some of it, blah, blah, blah. So we're all listening to music differently. So the way my mind or my emotions process music is going to be completely different than you guys, but we all come to the same conclusion that we love it. And it becomes a passion. And that's really, I think, a lot of what makes all of our journeys very different, but very much the same as well.
Yeah, right. Agreed.
I agree.
Yep.
I agree.
That would be a good stopping point, I think. I think that's a great way to wrap up, as a matter of fact.
See, I ruin everything. I'm a black cloud, and I come along and everyone shuts down their show when I show up. No, not really.
No,
fine.
Stephen, thank you for coming on. We hope you'll come on again. As a matter of fact, we need to exchange contact information so that we can collaborate again. We really appreciate you coming on. We appreciate. Your insight.
I appreciate you guys letting me on. Now, please formally introduce me to everybody.
Okay, you want to do that again, since this is technical course?
Well, everyone knows Todd Evans. Todd's always here.
I started out on the Contrarians.
That's why I always introduce Todd.
And I contribute to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and I'm also an admin for Rush Fans. So I
Okay, right.
to Rush Fans.
And Armando Venditti, right? Well, if I could point correctly,
that way.
He's on Contrarians. He's on Sea of Tranquility.
Sea of Tranquility. Curse of the Collector. Is that correct?
Yeah. Armando, are you on any other?
Yeah.
You're on.
I'm on. I appear periodically on Sea of Tranquility on a show called The Curse of the Collector, and we're taping another episode on the 19th. By the way, I'm also on Rock Daydream Nation from time to time.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that one.
Grant's Rock Warehouse and stuff like that. So,
awesome.
Based out of Edmonton, Alberta. So.
Oh, okay.
And then next to Armando is Byron Bolt, who's pretty much on here, right?
Yeah,
right, Byron.
You guys are about to
on Monday. We're doing a Frank Zappa show, and we're looking at Freak Out and Absolutely Free. And that'll be coming out on Monday, and that's the first show Byron's done with me so far. And below Byron is Ernesto Zart. I don't know if we should call him Zartran 69 or
Zartan 69.
Okay.
Zartan.
That's why I have him here. But Ernesto is like a huge 8-track collector. He is the man if you want to talk 8-tracks. But we did an 8-track show where we went through, and we're going to do a part 2 on that. So I don't know.
He's also got stereo equipment.
Oh yeah, vintage audio stuff.
Yes.
I love vintage audio.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, don't even get me started on that. We've got to do something.
I thought we were supposed to do a show on
it. We are. We're getting some people together.
That'd be a good one.
Well, I'm so overbooked that I can hardly keep track of what I'm doing.
Steven, what's your home base? Do you have a channel or a podcast or something?
I have a channel. It's you can look it up under Stephen Schnee, which is STEPHEN, and then Schnee, SCHNEE. You can also look under the CD Junkie. I come from that angle. I'm a CD, which means that I should have a lot more viewers based on my content, but because of my format, it's not very popular. So whatever. But I cover a bunch of stuff. Plus, I have different shows. I have a show called Beach Blanket Fort Bingo, which is an interview show that we interview artists. And then if you guys are familiar with Ronnie Barnett from the Muffs, he's a bass player from the Muffs. We have a show called Ronnie Barnett's Boom Boom Room, where he shows a lot of his collectibles that he's collected over the years, because he collects a lot of like promotional material. He has like paperweights and balloons, and he has an ELO light switch cover, and crazy things like that. And then my normal CD Junkie videos, where I talk about either an artist and go through their catalog, or I'll talk about a new release, and I'll maybe do little song medleys. So you don't have to go searching the web. You can listen to me talk for 3 or 4 minutes about it, and then listen to a 2 or 3 minute medley of songs from the album. And that'll hopefully either encourage you to buy the album, or it'll make you go, well, that's one less I get to cross off my list,
And that's on YouTube?
Right. Well,
yeah.
Sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I will definitely check out some of that.
So it's CD Junkie, right?
It's CD Junkie, or it's under. You can search for that, or you can search. It's actually under Stephen Schnee, but it's also Stephen Schnee, the CD Junkie. So
we are,
but I do appreciate.
Grant and I are big CD fans, so we're definitely champions of the format. I collect vinyl as well, but CDs are where it's at.
Well, my whole philosophy is buy cheap. I mean, buy low is what you want to do.
Buy low.
See, Byron likes that.
Well,
buy low. Why? Why go buy? Well, you bought records today. I should bitch at you about that. Why buy vinyl? I have tons of vinyl. Don't get me wrong, but I bought a lot of dollar CDs where it was a dollar CD, but the vinyl would have been, I don't know, Screaming Blue Messiahs could have been.
Yeah, that would have been an expensive.
It might have been an expensive record,
but a cheap CD.
Right. But
Well,
I'm just saying, buy low. It doesn't matter about the format. It just matters about the music. That's what we should pay attention to.
Yeah.
I'm
always touting that. Just real fast, you were talking about Bob Mould and stuff earlier. You can buy the Bob Mould box set, CD box set. It's like what, 19 CDs or something? And I mean, I'm throwing that number out there. It could be 17. I'm not sure what it is, but you can buy it for about $150 online. But if you were going to get the equivalent of those albums, it's like 4 separate box sets, and it's going to end up costing you $500 to get all those. So do you want to pay $150 and have it in one handy box set, or do you want to have a shelf filled with $500 worth of Bob Mould records? And it's, to me, it's a no-brainer. I'd rather pay $30 and get Songs from the Big Chair 2 CD expanded than pay $30 and just get the 10-track LP. You know, I'm a big.
You pay $100 and you get the 6 CD deluxe edition of the album, which I have, right? So, yeah.
There you go, Nick. See that? There you go. This is. I want to be a Flintstone on it. So there you go.
Oh yeah.
$1.
Yeah.
I always think when I hear discussions about this too, I always think about that Miles Davis box set, which costs, I don't know, like $275. Every Columbia CD ever. Oh, that's one of my favorite albums, Stephen, of all time.
I have the Vienna box set.
Yeah. This one is just out, and it's 5 CDs and a DVD, and of course the standard, 5.1
surround.
The Steven Wilson mix and all that
Steven
stuff.
Wilson, yeah. I've got the Vienna box set.
Yeah, I love. That's actually I think I like this album more than Vienna, but Vienna has better songs. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Vienna's a great record though.
I'll get that eventually.
Yeah. I mean, I won't show you any of the cheap box sets I just got because I know you want to hang up. So, but thank you for
let's do something
letting
else
me
again
up.
And we'll do that.
We'll look.
I mean,
we're always looking.
I appreciate it because I know the internet is full of people who get up and then all of a sudden you get the little helicopter wiener guys. I don't know if that's ever happened with you guys.
The what? Sorry?
Has it?
Grant?
Not really.
When somebody lets somebody new up on stream. No, I've seen this happen a lot. It hasn't happened lately, but maybe a year ago, whatever, where they let somebody up on screen and for a second it's a real face, whatever. Then they switch it over and it's their private parts. They're doing a little helicopter thing. Thank goodness you guys haven't had to deal with that.
No, but none of all these guys most everybody here's like from the Contrarians and stuff. We all know each other. So,
but we have got comments that are.
But
like
we did take Byron in.
That
we adopted Ernesto and Byron. We're not too sure what they're up to.
Yeah.
I don't know what
our knowledge was so great he couldn't refuse us. So.
Exactly.
Well, you guys were fans. I don't know. You were followers. So
I'm staying quiet for this portion of the conversation.
I don't know how Armando got here, but we're still working.
Yeah.
I got drafted.
He's an SOP guy. I don't know why we let him.
Well, for the other guys, I don't know if they had to do this, but the only reason I got up is I had to deposit $40 in Grant's PayPal account, and then he let me up. So.
$40? Really?
You get on more. You deposited more into there.
Not much. Okay.
I hope you got a shirt with that.
Every day, kid. Ever since that sweet video is 6,000, I'm now charging.
But
the thing is, though, is that these channels, these chats, create a community in terms of music and stuff. I mean, it creates a dialogue, and how can you go wrong with that?
And also, nobody is better than anybody else. That's the thing. You could have 13,000 subs, you could have 1,300 subs, you could have 300 subs. It doesn't matter. The thing that matters is the connection between people and your love and your passion for music. And that's always what I look for is people who you don't have to like what I like, but just as long as you have that passion for music.
Just in closing, the difference is being open to letting other people express their opinion on something that you may not agree with, but at least it's their opinion.
Exactly.
That's the whole thing. So
yeah.
And now I'll shut up.
Thank you, gentlemen. And it's great to meet you all.
Everybody's good.
It's great
to meet you. It's all about peace and love on this channel. So, everybody.
Absolutely. Peace, love, and Spandau Ballet.
And Queen.
Yeah, you can't beat
Queen.
it.
Yeah.
All right, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. God knows how it's going to end up, but that's what's so fun about it.
Right.
Everything just goes on a tangent.
I'll be looking at Steven's channel.
Yes. Thank you, everybody. And it's nice to meet you all.
Yeah, it's fun. Thanks for coming on. And thanks, Armando, Byron, Ernesto. Thanks for coming on. And Nick, everybody who left a comment. I hope you enjoyed the show. And we will see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.